right now at 10.
It's overwhelming seeing all these support we're getting from all these different towns. It's really amazing.
Statewide support tonight for Ira Ann cheerleaders at Shotwell Stadium after a deadly school bus crash last week. We'll hear from some of those cheerleaders about what it means to them.
Pulled up over here and saw that my neighbor's house had smoke coming out beside the house.
And a neighbor acts fast after seeing smoke coming from a South Abilene home. What he did next.
Another cold night across the area, even some freezing temperatures on the map. So how cold to start your Saturday? Your forecast is coming up.
Getting the facts right and alerting you to weather danger. This is KTXS News at 10.
A big turnout tonight at Shotwell Stadium to support the Ira Ann cheerleaders. Good evening, everyone. I'm Will Jensen. Thanks for being here. George is away tonight. Cheer teams from all over the state gathered at Shotwell Stadium tonight. You may remember the Ira Ann cheerleaders were involved in a deadly school bus crash last Friday. Their sponsor was killed in that accident. KTXS reporter Lindsay Regas was at tonight's game. Lindsay.
That's right, Will. The Ira Ann cheer team tells us they couldn't believe other cheerleaders came out just to support them. A lot of emotions were felt as they stepped onto the field minutes before the game.
Let's go Braves!
Let's go Braves!
Let's go Braves!
Cheer squads from across the state filled the stands at Shotwell.
We're here in support of the Ira Ann cheerleaders.
Last Friday night, Ira Ann cheerleaders were involved in a bus crash on the way back home from a football game.
Let's go Braves!
1 week later, the Friday night lights are on, the team is on the field, and thousands are cheering.
Come on!
Let's go Braves! Let's go Braves! It took my breath away. This is not at all anything like I had expected.
Hallie DeGraffenried was hospitalized after the crash, but it didn't stop her from doing what she loves most, cheering on her high school football team. The only difference is that hundreds of cheerleaders will be cheering her team on right there with her.
It's overwhelming seeing all these support we're getting from all these different towns. It's really amazing. Come on!
Schools cheered all night, making sure the Ira Ann cheer team knew they weren't alone.
Well, we heard about the story and it just really touched us, and we just wanted to be in support because if it happened to us, we know that other towns would do the same for us.
Win or lose, Ira Ann cheerleader Dahlia Boucher couldn't be happier to see the turnout.
It's honestly, it just shows, like the power of compassion, that you can overcome a rivalry to come and show support for someone that's hurting, a community that's hurting.
Coming to the game wasn't the only way these cheerleaders showed their support. Teams sold t-shirts and bracelets to raise money for medical expenses. And by the way, Ira Ann beat Wellington 42-21. We'll have highlights on this game coming up in sports. Will?
A bittersweet night for so many. Lindsay, thank you. Let's take a look at the weather. Another cold night ahead, but a warmer and windy weekend is on the way. KTX's chief meteorologist Mark Rowlett joins us now with more on what we can expect. Mark, thank you. Another round of water problems for folks in Eastland tonight. This story new tonight at 10. The city manager says a mechanical issue at the Eastland County Water Supply District plant means pumps are not feeding the city of Eastland. This is video from last week when a water main ruptured and they ran out of water. Crews are working to fix the problem. Until then, citizens are being asked to conserve water. This includes Carbon and Olden, as well as parts of Staff and westbound water supplies. A fast-acting neighbor saved a couple from a South Abilene house fire this afternoon. He was driving by, saw the smoke, and told the couple inside to get out. It happened just before 1 o'clock this afternoon in the 3900 block of Jennifer Lane near Cat Claw Drive. We caught up with that neighbor who also called 911.
Pulled up over here and saw that my neighbor's house had smoke coming out the side of the house, which looked like he had his fireplace going, but the smoke was coming out of the eave instead of the chimney. So myself and another man pulled over and talked to the guy, knocked on the door, and got him out of the house and told him his house was on fire and called 911.
Fire officials say it looks like the fire is related to the chimney, and they are still investigating that fire. 2 Abilene men are facing federal and local charges for sexually assaulting a 12-year-old girl. These men, Terrell Kinchin and Troy Applin Jr., were federally indicted for sexual exploitation of a child last month. They're also charged with aggravated sexual assault of a child here in Taylor County, but haven't been indicted yet. We took a look at the court documents. They say the pair made the girl perform sex acts on them. Police say the men also recorded some of those encounters on video. They're both being held at the Taylor County Jail. And now to the disturbing confession of a mass murderer. Today, jurors heard the FBI recording of Dylan Roof, where he details how and why he admittedly killed 9 African Americans at a historically black church in Charleston, South Carolina last year. Lauren Lister has this story.
Lauren Lister, ABC News, Los Angeles.
President-elect Donald Trump's thank you tour continues with visits to Michigan and Louisiana. But before the president-elect left Trump Tower, he met with the man who may be his most powerful legislative ally, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan. And a major development in the transition. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani has removed himself from consideration for a post in the Trump administration. They say he will continue as a vice chair of the transition team. A major announcement from the White House today. President Obama has ordered a full review of Russia's hacking of the 2016 election. However, Homeland Security and counterterrorism advisors say the administration should be careful about revealing investigation results to the public. The review is expected to be done before President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20th. Some Abilene students are learning it's better to give than to receive. Students at Abilene Christian Schools teamed up with the Betty Hardwick Center to make it a memorable Christmas for several families. KTXS reporter Charisma Thrash has this story.
In Abilene, Charisma Thrash, KTXS News.
ACS has teamed up with the Betty Hardwick Center at Christmas for more than 25 years. An important lesson to learn, especially this time of year.
It's nice to be giving to others this time of the year, and really any time of the year, but especially this time of the year. We're looking at our temperatures today that were below normal, especially the high temperature. All we could manage was 42 with those clouds hanging tough this afternoon. Our low this morning was 28. We're almost back down to that temperature right now. We'll have your forecast coming up next.
Also coming up, an update to a story we brought you earlier this week. We'll tell you whether or not the organizers of Art Walk reached their critical fundraising goal.
Getting the facts right and alerting you to weather danger. You're watching KTXS News at 10 with George Levesque, Mark Rowlett, and Chris Wilner.